Brianna then left the motel because she delivered the pizzas, but came back later masked up in all black with
oh my gosh. Today we're reacting to she stabbed a customer for not leaving a tip. I'm not the person that's gonna fight for tipping culture needs to be canceled. I feel like everybody that is a good worker deserves a tip when the job comes to like a real service, like a barber or a waiter or something. But when I walk in the AutoZone to get wheel locks for my tires, and in the process of checking out, the AutoZone guy says it's gonna ask you a question, look at the reader and it's asking for a tip, I'm gonna get mad too.
Well guys, it's finally happened, and honestly, I'm not surprised because this is something I've been predicting for a while now, and it's about tipping. Tipping in America has become one of the most toxic things in this country, to the point where someone was brutally assaulted and stabbed 14 times over leaving a $2 tip.
Huh. Wow. Brutally stabbed 14 times. Pregnant woman for a $2 tip. She had it that day. Send her, put her under the jail. She had it that day. She definitely had a stretch of getting like no tips, bad tips, and this was just the last straw.
New details this morning. We're learning about a stabbing involving this delivery driver who delivers pizza. You can see her
delivery
and being put into a cruiser.
This wasn't even no waiter, and then this is a delivery driver. Nah.
The county deputies say Brianna Alvello stabbed a woman 14 times because she wasn't happy with her tip.
The worst part about this is that I'm not even surprised because things like this are going to start happening. But before we talk about this gruesome event, let me talk to you about tipping itself in America. Tipping, by definition, is a social custom where a customer gives extra money to a service worker in addition to the basic price of the service. Now, notice how it says in addition and extra, meaning tipping is supposed to be extra dollars on top of the original price if someone is feeling a little nice or if they feel like the service exceeded expectations. But the main point is that it isn't supposed to be mandatory. Tipping is a choice that people decide to make. However, in America, it doesn't seem to be that way.
Going up. Hi, which floor?
3, please.
Okay. Excuse me?
It's gonna ask you a question. When they hit you with that, it's just gonna ask you a quick question, and I'm like, oh shit, what could it possibly be asking me? 10%. 15%, 20 or 25, which one would you like to do? And I hit that no skip. I mean, sorry, no tip. I hit that no tip. Like, I'm a good person, bro. I tip people that are supposed to be tipped, but it's just not happening with these individuals.
In America, somewhere along the lines, tipping stopped being a kind gesture and turned into an obligation.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer about rewarding great service, it's about avoiding feeling guilty, and in some cases, it's used to fully fund people's salaries. Like, I can't even describe to you the amount of times I've been to a place like Subway or an ice cream shop, and after I pay for the food, this little tip screen comes up asking if I want to tip like 15 through 25%, and I have to awkwardly click the no tip because
it ain't awkward for me. It's not awkward. And especially since I found out they can't even see the other side of the screen. I saw that somewhere, but I also started looking over at their screen. I'll look over real quick, and it'll just be a little thing that's processing. They don't know if you're doing it or not.
Why on earth would I be tipping? This is literally their job. Why would I be tipping someone for doing their job? Especially at a place like a fast food establishment. You can't make a Big Mac taste any better than it is. And no, most of the time, these tips are asked before the food is even made. So not only am I literally tipping for no reason, they could mess up my order still and I don't get the tip back. But I don't usually see meltdowns from people who work at fast food spots. I mean, there was that one time when the Miles Morales Spider-Man guy had a complete meltdown after a tip, or rather a tip that he didn't get.
It's out there in the rain and no tip! No tip!
Damn, this thing came from humble beginnings, huh? Pizza man to Miles Morales guy.
Yeah, that guy was absolutely tweaking. But luckily for him, through his collab with Kai Cenat, he's now pretty famous. And because of that, you can ask him about his meltdown through the Polybuzz app. Imagine being able to have a conversation with your favorite celebrity or favorite anime character. Well, with Polybuzz, the sponsor of today's video,
That's a crazy sponsor right there. That's an insane sponsor right there. Get your money, my boy.
2-year-old pizza driver who was charged with the stabbing of a pregnant woman 14 times over a $2 tip. According to the police report, the victim was reportedly celebrating her boyfriend's birthday at a motel. And of course, celebrations need pizza. So after Brianna delivered the pizza, the victim paid for it and then gave her a $2 tip on top of the $33 she just paid for the pizzas. And remember, it's a tip, so she doesn't have to do that, but she did anyway. Brianna then left the motel because she delivered the pizzas, but came back later masked up in all black with
Oh my gosh. Like, that's crazy. And she gonna get premeditated. Like, wait, it's not premeditated. She gonna get something where it was like she left, thought about it, like, nah. She had time to go back, do her job, be like, okay, I'm coming back. About $2. About $2. What the you imagine somebody give you $2 and you get so mad that you just like, nah, I'm coming back and I'm handling that. That's crazy.
an accomplice and forced their way into the motel. Brianna's accomplice then pulls out a gun and points it at the victim's boyfriend,
Oh my
forcing him
gosh.
into the bathroom. And I know what you're thinking. There's no way they're doing all of this over a $2 tip, but yes, they are. While Brianna's accomplice is forcing the victim's boyfriend in the bathroom at gunpoint, Brianna pulls out a pocket knife in front of the victim and her 5-year-old daughter and starts.
I'm sorry. Wait. You were willing to stick somebody up, right? So you go to the person at the motel celebrating a birthday who bought a large pizza, celebrating somebody's birthday, and just gave you a $2 tip. Obviously, they don't have more than that. So you pull up and you stick up the niggas that also don't got no money. If you're willing to stick a nigga up, why would you not go to the like, yo, okay, so I know this one dude and I know he got money. You gonna stick up the niggas at the motel?
robbing them, which eventually leads to her stabbing the victim 14 times.
Wow.
Which is a terrible thing to experience, especially with a child there, because in reality, the victim probably wasn't even worried about herself, more so that her child wasn't in danger.
Yeah.
After Brianna had stabbed the victim, her and the accomplice fled the scene. But surprise, surprise, they're pretty stupid, and they obviously got caught. I mean, they thought about the crime a little bit, because at least they showed up in all black with masks on, but like they drove to the crime scene in Brianna's red car, and the security camera grabbed the license plate. Like, what's the
It's crazy how stupid people can be. It's really like a new level. It's like people like us, we don't be experiencing people this dumb because we're just not around that. But like there is a group, there's a large group of people in this world that are just so dumb you could not even fathom. You know what I'm saying?
point in committing a gruesome crime like that if you aren't even going to do the research to see that a security camera is in view of your car? After Brianna was caught, she was charged with attempted murder, home invasion with a firearm, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. And remember, this was all over a tip. A tip that isn't even mandatory. And when I hear the charges that Brianna is facing, I have no choice but to just laugh because she legitimately ruined her life for no apparent reason. Like, I just can't fathom the thought process behind these actions. On a lighter note, the victim suffered stab wounds to her chest, arms, legs, and abdomen, but luckily, she survived. Because it's not every day you hear of someone being stabbed more than 10 times and living to tell the story. She also discovered while being treated at the hospital that she was pregnant, so hopefully everything works out. This situation really highlights the problem with tipping culture
Crazy.
because for some reason, a lot of these people actually feel entitled to the tips. Like they don't view these tips as extra money, they view it as money they earned from simply doing their job.
The reason why is because a lot of people that are like for instance, a job like that, you're getting paid probably like $2, $3, $4, $5 maybe an hour, and the rest of your money comes from tip. Like that's how the job's set up. Like for like a waitress or a waiter, right? They're getting paid a little bit of money, but the rest of the money is what's supposed to be like the amount. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you getting tips, bro. You getting all these tips and da da da. So that's why people feel like entitled to the tip because they this is how they're supposed to get their bread, and that's because that's how it's set up. But you agreed to the job, and you also are aware that you don't like a tip is not guaranteed. So why are you? So you can be upset. You can go to talk to your coworkers like, bro, this fucking bro, I barely made any money. People just so bro. You can do all of that. You can be mad, but it gets to a point though.
And I know there are certain cases like working in a restaurant where tips are basically the only form of income for the servers, but I feel like that's a completely different problem for a different video. However, before I end this video, I wanted to show one more crazy case of this toxic tip culture.
Your DoorDash leaves a nasty note in your food thinking you wouldn't tip.
Hello. Ignore. You keep that. Why? Because I didn't see a tip on the app and I put a little
Sorry, that's very low. Can y'all hear that? Let me try to turn that up for y'all.
card in there. So please keep that. I'm sorry.
No, I just had cash. Please take
It's
it.
okay. It's okay because it's okay. Thank you.
Have a good night.
What the card say?
For those who are
Jesus Christ. Sorry. I don't know why that was so quiet and then his audio was back loud.
confused, the DoorDasher or lady who delivered the food didn't see the customer leave a tip through the app, because I guess for some reason DoorDash has it so delivery drivers can see if the customer left a tip before the food is even delivered.
That's a horrible idea. Cause me, I on DoorDash, I'm not gonna lie, the most I've ever tipping is $3. Like I just click, if it $3 isn't even on there, $3 every time. I'm sorry. I was a DoorDasher once. You know what I'm saying? $3. Boom. For me, you getting a tip. I'm not gonna not tip you, but you're gonna get $3 though. You know what I'm saying? So, but if a nigga don't like that, I didn't know that they could see that, because that means nigga could be fondling with my food. I don't like that.
My opinion sounds backwards, which makes me believe that it's not the same system that I'm thinking of. Because like, what if I tip the driver before the food is delivered and then they deliver my food late? Like that's a waste of a tip. But anyways, the delivery driver didn't see a tip from the customer through the app. So in return, the delivery driver wrote a nasty note to the customer and put it inside her food bag she was delivering. But as we already know, nothing is ever what it seems. And it turns out the customer did in fact have a tip for the delivery driver. It was just in cash. And because it's in cash, it didn't pop up on the DoorDash app. Realizing this, when the customer tried to hand her tip money, the DoorDasher realized she effed up.
Because I didn't see a tip on the app and I put a little card in there. So please keep that. I'm sorry.
No, I just had cash. Please take
It's
it.
okay. It's okay because
She just couldn't even take. She's like, I can't.
thank you.
Have a good night.
And for the DoorDasher to refuse the tip, we can only assume that the note inside the bag is terrible.
Crazy.
But I'm going to let you guys.
That being said, man, like the video, sub up, comment up. Let me know how y'all feel about the video. Let me know how y'all feel about this video. And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gone. Make sure you binge the rest of it on the channel. We gone. ADD Lado.